Right now, over 5,000 U.S. sailors are living, working, and sleeping inside a steel city, and that city is moving across the open ocean at over 30 miles per hour. 5,000 people. One ship. 9 months at sea. No way out. That is not a prison sentence, that is a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier deployment, and it costs $8 million every single day just to keep it running. But here is what most people never ask. When those sailors are not launching jets off a flight deck or scanning radar screens, what are they actually doing? Where do they sleep when jet engines are roaring 50 feet above their heads? What do they eat when the nearest grocery store is 300 miles away? And how do you keep 5,000 human beings physically healthy, mentally stable, and combat-ready for 9 straight months, with no breaks, no days off, and no sunlight below deck? Most people assume the Navy has it figured out. What they don't realize is how close the system sometimes runs to the edge. There's one part of carrier life that even veterans rarely talk about. Something that happened aboard a deployed carrier just weeks ago that forced sailors to go hungry in the middle of a combat zone. We'll come back to that. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how 5,000 sailors eat, sleep, and function inside what the Navy calls a floating city. And you'll understand why keeping that city running is one of the most demanding feats of human organization on the planet. What you clicked on is exactly what this is. This is the full, unfiltered look inside a U.S. aircraft carrier. Not the jets, not the weapons, but the daily human reality of the men and women who live aboard these ships and keep them running around the clock, every single day of a 9-month deployment. If you've always respected the men and women who serve on these carriers, type respect in the comments right now. Let's see how many of us are out there. The ship itself. Before we get into eating and sleeping, you need to understand the scale of what we're talking about. A U.S. Navy Nimitz-class aircraft carrier is 1,092 feet long. That is longer than 3 football fields placed end to end. It displaces over 100,000 tons of water. It is powered by 2 nuclear reactors that never need to be refueled for over 20 years. And it carries enough weapons, aircraft, fuel, and personnel to project more military power than most countries on Earth. The Gerald R. Ford class, the newest generation, cost $13 billion to build. Each one. That single ship costs more than the entire defense budget of most nations. There are 11 of these carriers in the U.S. fleet right now. No other country on Earth operates more than 2. Now here is what makes this different from every other warship in history. A carrier is not just a weapons platform. It is a community. It has barbershops, a post office, a chapel, a library, a hospital, a dental clinic, a gym, multiple restaurants, and yes, even an internet connection. More on that in a moment, because what high-speed internet did to carrier life is something nobody saw coming. But first, food. Because nothing keeps 5,000 people going like knowing they are going to eat. How they eat. The galley on a U.S. aircraft carrier is not a cafeteria. It is a military-grade food production operation, running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with 0 days off, ever. On a Nimitz-class carrier, there are 5 separate galleys spread across the ship. The newer Ford-class carriers consolidated to 2, 1 forward, 1 aft, built with more efficient equipment and better layout. Either way, the mission is the same: feed everybody. On time, every time. No exceptions. The number that stops most people cold? 17,000 meals per day. That is not a typo. 17,000 individual meals prepared and served every single day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and what the Navy calls midrats, midnight rations for sailors pulling night shifts who have no other option. The calories are calculated by regulation. Male sailors are required to receive 2,850 calories per day. Female sailors receive 2,100. This is not a suggestion. It is a military standard, because underfueled sailors make mistakes, and on a carrier, mistakes cost lives. The men and women doing this work are called culinary specialists. They go through serious training before they ever step foot in a carrier galley. Some of them manage inventory for tens of thousands of pounds of food stored in freezers and dry storage compartments deep below the waterline. Now here's something most civilians don't think about. How do you restock a ship that never comes to port? The answer is UNREP, underway replenishment. A supply ship pulls alongside the carrier while both ships are moving, sometimes at 15 to 20 knots, and transfers food, fuel, and equipment via cables and pulleys stretched between the two hulls. Sailors on both ships manage this process while the ocean moves beneath them. It is dangerous, physically demanding, and essential. Without UNREP, a carrier would have to return to port every few weeks. With it, a carrier can stay deployed for months without ever stopping. The food itself has improved dramatically over the decades. The Navy now tracks nutritional standards with precision. But no system is perfect, and we will come back to what happened aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln when that system was stretched beyond its limits. How they sleep. Now let's talk about something that most people underestimate entirely. Sleep aboard an aircraft carrier is one of the hardest things a sailor has to manage, and it affects everything else. Every sailor sleeps in what the Navy calls a rack. That word alone tells you something. A rack is not a bed. It is a narrow sleeping space, roughly 6.5 feet long, stacked 3 high in a compartment shared with dozens of other sailors. Underneath the mattress is a storage compartment called a coffin locker. That locker holds everything a sailor owns during deployment. Because there is no closet, there is no dresser, there is barely enough room to sit up straight. The mattress itself is roughly 3 inches thick, not a pillow top, not a memory foam. 3 inches of padding between a sailor's body and a steel platform. For 9 months. But the mattress is not the hard part. The hard part is the noise. An aircraft carrier never sleeps. Flight operations run at all hours. Jets launch from catapults that generate the force of a small explosion every single time. Landing aircraft hit the flight deck at over 150 miles per hour and stop in about 2 seconds using arresting wires. That impact sends a physical shockwave through the entire ship. Sailors sleeping 2 decks below can feel it in their bones. Add to that the mechanical hum of nuclear reactors, ventilation systems, hydraulics, and the constant movement of thousands of people through narrow corridors, and you start to understand why sleep deprivation is one of the most serious wellness issues the Navy deals with. Some sailors who work below the flight deck go weeks at a time without seeing natural daylight. Their bodies lose track of time. Their sleep cycles break down. The Navy has been working on lighting systems and schedule management to combat this, but it remains one of the unsolved challenges of carrier life. Berthing areas, the rooms where sailors sleep, are organized by department and rank. Enlisted sailors share large, open berthing areas with anywhere from 20 to 100 people. Officers have smaller, more private spaces. Senior officers have cabins with actual doors. The captain has the nicest quarters on the ship, which by civilian standards would still be considered a small hotel room. But here's what unites every rank when the lights go out. The ship keeps moving. The jets keep launching. And somewhere across the ocean, people are counting on everyone aboard to wake up rested enough to do their job right. How they work: approximately 3 minutes. Now this is where carrier life becomes something that is genuinely difficult to explain to someone who has never experienced it. There are no 9-to-5 schedules on an aircraft carrier. The ship runs on a watch rotation, a system of shifts that covers every hour of every day. The most common arrangement is 12 hours on, 12 hours off. You work your 12, you sleep and eat in your 12, and then you go back. For 9 months. Some departments run on a 2-section watch, which means half the crew is always working while the other half rests. Others run 4-section watches, which spread the load a little thinner and give sailors more recovery time between shifts. It depends entirely on your job, and the jobs aboard a carrier are astonishing in their range. Flight deck crews work one of the most physically dangerous jobs in the entire U.S. military. The flight deck of a carrier during active operations is a place of organized chaos. Jets moving at full throttle, catapults firing, propeller wash, jet blast, and arresting wires snapping across the deck at lethal speed. Every crew member on that deck has a specific color-coded vest that tells everyone else exactly what their job is. Yellow for aircraft directors, purple for fuel handlers, red for ordnance, green for maintenance, blue for aircraft handlers, and so on. Below deck, nuclear engineers monitor the reactors. Intelligence analysts process real-time data. Medical staff run a hospital that can handle everything from a broken arm to emergency surgery. The legal office handles paperwork. The public affairs team documents operations. One department that rarely gets mentioned, the ship's store. It is essentially a small retail shop selling toiletries, snacks, gear, and small personal items. For sailors who haven't seen a real store in months, that little shop matters more than most people would expect. Water, internet, and the things that keep sailors human. A nuclear-powered aircraft carrier produces up to 400,000 gallons of fresh water every single day, pulled directly from the ocean and desalinated using the ship's nuclear power. That is enough water to supply a small American town. But water aboard a carrier is never wasted. Even with that capacity, sailors are trained in what is called the Navy shower. Get wet for 30 seconds, turn the water off, soap up, rinse quickly, done. Because on a ship, conservation is discipline, and discipline is the foundation of everything. Now, the internet. This one surprised a lot of people. For most of carrier history, sailors had almost no reliable communication with home. Letters took weeks. Phone calls were rationed. The isolation was one of the most psychologically difficult parts of deployment. That changed in recent years. High-speed commercial satellite internet, using systems similar to what civilians use at home, was installed aboard carriers including the USS Abraham Lincoln. The impact was immediate and significant. Young sailors who had grown up with the internet found it restoring something the Navy had never been able to give them before: the feeling that they were still connected to the world. Sailors started streaming video, calling home every day, even ordering packages from online retailers, which arrived a month later, but still arrived. One commander described it this way: young sailors now view internet connectivity the same way they view fresh water and food. It is not a luxury. For their generation, it is a basic psychological need. And when that connection works, morale is measurably higher. Performance improves. Retention improves. The Navy took notice. When the system breaks down. Now that thing we said we'd come back to. Just weeks ago, the USS Abraham Lincoln was deployed in the Arabian Sea as the only U.S. carrier in that region. Operations were prolonged. Supply lines were strained, and sailors began reporting something that should never happen aboard a U.S. warship: food shortages. Not a shortage of one item, a shortage of real, adequate meals. Families of sailors started speaking out publicly. One father described seeing a photo of his daughter's lunch tray aboard an affiliated ship, 2/3 empty, carrying one small scoop of meat and a single folded tortilla. That's it. The Navy has not denied the reports. Analysts confirmed the situation and noted that the shortages were affecting morale across multiple ships in the region. It is a reminder that no system, no matter how powerful or well-funded, is immune to the pressure of extended operations, disrupted logistics, and the raw reality of keeping thousands of people fed in the middle of a combat zone. These sailors signed up knowing deployment would be hard. They did not sign up to go hungry while doing their jobs. Recreation and morale. The U.S. Navy understood a long time ago that a sailor who cannot decompress will eventually break down. So every carrier runs what is called MWR, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation. Aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford, the MWR department hosts a 5-kilometer run on the flight deck at least twice a month, whenever flight operations allow. Daily fitness classes run below deck. The gym is open around the clock. There are movie screenings, trivia nights, sports competitions between departments. These things exist because the Navy knows the math. A sailor who gets to run on a flight deck and watch a sunset over the ocean, even for 20 minutes, is a sailor who comes back to their duty station ready to work. It is not a cruise. It is not comfortable. But it is a community. And that community, more than any weapon system on the ship, is what keeps a carrier operational. Conclusion. 5,000 sailors, 17,000 meals a day, 12-hour shifts for 9 months, no days off, no real sunlight for weeks at a time, 3 inches of mattress between them and the ocean's noise, and they do it willingly, because the mission matters, and because the men and women who wear that uniform are built differently than most of us. That is what a floating city actually looks like from the inside. If this video gave you a new level of respect for the sailors aboard U.S. aircraft carriers, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video like this one. It takes 1 second, and it means everything to this channel.